reset the energies. Hey, Steph. Alrighty. And yeah, we're going to begin. So then I'm going to ring my tuning fork, 440 hertz. And we say, I demand release from all control and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. You can say it 2 more times. This is your back to reset for yourself. I demand release from all control and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. I demand release from all control and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. I finally memorized that. It took me long enough. Hello from Canada. Hey, Natasha. Thank you for being at both lives today. For those of you who are here again. Okay, today, we're ready to connect. And so we are connecting with Merlin again, which, by the way, I have my little Merlin Excalibur painting that I made near my altar for him. So now I'm like, this is his little symbol. All right, thank you. I know it came with it. It was one of those paint by numbers ones, and it came with the frame. And I was like, I have to get it. And it's just so cute. I love it. I love how it's like a doorway behind, like a portal. I just was like, I must have, obviously. Okay, so where were we? Now we call in Merlin. All right, so Merlin, I'm calling you in for my highest and greatest good today. I would like to connect with you with the rods. When you're connected, will you please show me a yes? Yes. Your ears are ringing. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh, guys. We totally forgot the white light pyramid. Oh my gosh. We need to do the white light pyramid. Yes. Reset. All right. So let's do a quick little white light pyramid and then reconnect. Okay. All right. I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. I want us to imagine a bright beam of white light descending down from source, and it connects directly to the center of the earth. And it's this huge beam of light, about 3 feet wide. And I want you to see this shimmering white light and walk right into it, allowing the energy to pass through all of your chakras. I want you to imagine this power circulating around your chakras and causing them to expand until this white light expands out to take on the form of a white light pyramid that completely surrounds your body and has this beam of light shooting straight through the middle of it and all through your chakras. I want you to imagine this pyramid with the tip about 20 feet above your head and the 4 points touching the ground. Within this white light, we're completely protected, and we only allow truth, love, and wisdom to enter. Alrighty. Thank you for watching from your flight, Lindsay. Safe travels. All right, now we are ready to call it in. I can't believe I forgot that. Okay, Merlin, are you here and connected? I'm getting a yes. Okay. And so just to confirm, I like to start right at neutral because I'm a skeptic still of my own self. Merlin, are you here? Yes. Okay. So everyone take a giant swig of water. Get these energies all lubricated. Let's begin. I want to learn about mythic realms and mythic beasts today. Since if you may or may not have caught the unicorn interview this morning, I'm on the theme of beasts. Like, what is real based upon our folklore and everything? Do you ever ask him to point to the direction of his energy? Yes, I have. And I've asked twice, and both times he was in different spots. So let's try again. Merlin, are you here and connected? Like more like me. Merlin, are you here and connected? Getting a no. Well, this is good practice. Okay, if you ever have that where you feel like, what happened to my connection? It felt like it went away. That happened to me this morning too. Very frustrating. But the more you believe it will work out, the more it will. So, okay, Merlin, are you here and connected? Yes. Sometimes it just requires like a reset, in my experience, of just like shake the nerves out, the thoughts in your head that are like, it's not going to work for me, which replay in my head constantly. You need to just shut those down and be like, it can work for everyone. Why not me? Take a deep breath and relax. Okay. He's always to your left. Both rods point that way. All right, Merlin, are you here and connected? I felt like a yes. It's moving together. Why is it happening on live? Merlin, are you here and connected? Okay, there you go, yes. All right, will you point to the direction of your energy in this room? He's pointing to where his... Oh, it's going past. It's going all the way to my left. Okay, yeah, he's on my left. So are you trying to say you are on my left? Yes. Okay. There you go. That's pretty nifty. I thought he was going to point to the sword painting, and he went past it. Okay, so now we do the calibration questions. If you're new to connecting to Merlin or anyone, you should always ask, show me a yes, please. Okay, thank you. Show me a no. Go back to neutral. Show me a no. Thank you. Show me a maybe. Mine are usually just frozen, so they look like a no. Show me a no answer or access denied. Also frozen. Okay. All right. Now let's begin. Where were we? We already did this. Okay. So first, what are myths? Is it accurate to say that many, if not all, of our myths might be based on actual real beings? I'm getting a yes. Were many of these mythical beings truly physically present on surface Earth at some point? I got a yes. Okay. Did humans and mythic beings at some point coexist openly? I get a yes. Did hunting or human exploitation contribute to these mythical beings' withdrawal? I get a yes. Humans, humans, humans. We're starting to get it, but we can be quite devastatingly cruel. Okay. Did some beings retreat to inner Earth? Getting a yes. Did some shift interdimensionally instead of relocating physically? Getting a yes. Would you say it's accurate to say that a lot of our myths have used fear to distort our memory of many of these beasts? I'm getting a yes. Excuse me. Okay. Now I want to move on to part 2, dragons. And so if you have any dragon questions, let them share it with us. Okay. So, are dragons biological beings? I'm surprised. I thought I was going to get a yes, but it feels like I'm getting a no, or sort of maybe this is a maybe. Are you trying to give like more of a maybe response right there? Yes. Okay, so it's more like, yes, dragons are physical, but they also are energetic. Yes. Okay. Do dragons anchor key earth ley lines? I get a yes. I was even told like there's earth ley lines and then there's dragon ley lines, and they're different. Yes. It was like described, like if you can imagine, ley lines are like the energetic nervous system of planet Earth, correct? Yes, like all imagine the little nerve endings and roadways. Yes, and it's like her cardiovascular whole system. Yes, and dragon lines are sort of like arteries, while ley lines are like veins. Correct? Yes. So interesting little mental picture right there. Let's see. At one point, were dragons truly walking the earth? I get a yes. And you mean like surface earth? I'm getting a yes. And this included timelines on earth where humans and dragons were coexisting, correct? I'm getting a yes. 11. Oh yeah, 111 here. Let's see. Did dragons at some point intentionally go dormant away from Earth? I'm getting a yes. I was surprised even when I used the word intentionally. So they intended to go dormant with their energies here. Yes. Are there dragons physically present in inner Earth right now? Getting a slow yes. But I'm feeling like they're questioning my use of the word right now. Why? I don't know. Is something complicated like inner Earth realms be time different? Something like that. Doesn't matter. You know what I meant though, of like, are there physically dragons alive in inner Earth? Yes. Are dragons still fighting the energies of the opposing forces in this timeline? That's a good question, Natasha. Okay. Are dragons still fighting opposing forces energies in this timeline? Is this a maybe or a kind of? I'm getting the sense like it's like the fight has already been won. That's what I'm getting. So now dragons are like holding the line. Yes. Or holding the barricade. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it doesn't feel like the fight is done here in our timeline, correct? Yes. But it's like it is indeed on the other side set in stone, like sword in the stone. Mm-hmm. So, and the dragons are officially back energetically here from being dormant. I'm getting a yes. And that is because Earth, humanity along with Earth, have reached an energetic threshold. Yes. We're in New Earth, baby. Yes, that was a big yes. Okay. Oh, I wanted to ask this one question. Are surface dragons considered extinct? This feels like a kind of. Okay. Are there some that are here but cloaked? I got a yes. I was expecting none on the surface. Are there some that are here but considered in a different dimension? Yes. So there are truly some dragons that are like in our dimension but cloaked from us. I'm getting a yes. Natasha's saying, are those beings that are cloaked here referring to ocean dragons? I'm getting a no. Land dragons? I'm getting, yeah, like a kind of. But I don't know. I heard rainbows represent dragons. Are rainbows us seeing them? Is there a connection between rainbows and dragons? That's a vague question, but yes, But I'm talking about, is there a connection between the physical, like visible rainbows that we see and dragon energy? I'm getting a no. I was thinking air dragons too when I said land and it was slow. Was it also because there's also air dragons that you wanted to bring to our attention? That's what I was like, is land and air dragons, aren't they the same? Like they can go into the air? I don't know. What was I going to ask about? Oh, do some humans, or do all humans carry dormant dragon lineage energy? I get a yes. Do all humans, is it accurate to say that humans carry dragon DNA? I'm getting no, but I was really hoping for a yes on that one. Let's ask again. Do humans, either some or all humans, carry dragon DNA? I'm getting no. Let's see. Is it accurate to say that dragons are guardians? It's like wanting to move. Are dragons considered guardians? It feels like a yes, but our dragons are guardians of Earth and humans, correct? Yes. Although interesting to note that at one point there was like a dragon war over whether or not humans should still be considered under their protection. We were really not being cool at the time, I imagine. Yes. So they fought over that. Dragons became divided. But they're now reunited, Team Humanity, and back. Yes. Let's see. Is it accurate to say that dragon energy is more saturated into Earth's grid than unicorn energy? I'm getting a yes. And that's what Lupa, the unicorn, had said earlier today too. Okay. Is Leviathan considered an Earth-cloaked dragon? I'm getting a yes. Is our idea of Leviathan pretty on track with our idea of what Godzilla is as well? I'm getting a yes. Is Leviathan still dormant? I'm getting a no. Does that mean Leviathan is no longer dormant? I'm getting a yes. Interesting. Is Leviathan a being that exists for humanity's highest and greatest good? More so for Earth's highest and greatest good? Yes, like an Earth guardian is what I'm getting. Is the elf kingdom supporting us? Oh, that's an interesting question, because like, would you say elves are real species that exist here on Earth? Yes. Okay. Would you say they're part of the fairy group? I'm getting a yes. Is the fairy kingdom supporting humanity currently? Yes. Do many humans have fairy guardians? Yes. Have many children unknowingly had fairy friends, but they thought they were invisible, imaginary friends? I'm getting yes. Okay, let's see. Will there be a future where dragons come back to surface Earth to reunite with humans? I get a yes. Pretty cool. Do you think there's a high probability that there'll be a future here on Earth where dragon riders exist again? I get a yes. I want to come back for that. And then you can ask, because time isn't real outside of this experience, correct? Yes, you can ask, like, Is there a fractal of my oversoul that is experiencing life as a dragon rider? Yes. Like a warrior? Like, am I a warrior dragon rider? Yes. Pretty neat. And then if you want to, you can go down the road being like, is my dragon a female, male, all that kind of stuff. And then start, can someone technically connect with these rods to their parallel lifetime dragon that they rode? Yes. Does each dragon rider's dragon want to connect in that way? For the most part. Yes. Oh, that's so cool. Natasha's a dragon rider healer. Very cool. Okay, now I wanted to go to unicorns. Since we had the unicorn interview this morning, I need a guide on how to train my dragon. I know, right? Okay, so let's see. And then you can even ask, like, if I were to call on my dragon right now, would it always be with me? Yes. But as we're learning, is my dragon always with me no matter what? Yes. It's like, because we're learning that dragon and angel rules are the same. They are always surrounding and protecting their human, correct? Yes. Whereas other beings require consent to intervene or support, dragon and angels do not require consent all the time, correct? I'm getting a yes. And for a second I thought I was about to get a no on that one. Okay. So now, unicorns. Okay. So, did we indeed talk to an inner earth unicorn this morning on live? I get a yes. Is he rather uniquely beautiful as far as unicorns go? I'm getting a yes, and I feel like he knew it. He knew how beautiful he is, yes. And I wanted to know, did unicorns originate on Earth? I'm getting a big no on that one. Okay. So did unicorns originate from another planet? I'm getting a yes. I believe, I know you told us so, but for those who didn't catch it, I'm giving brand new information, or as if it's brand new. Yes. Actually, in the interview, he said, and let's see if I can describe what he said. He described the origin of the unicorn, because I was like, how did the form get picked, right? And he described it as like, once upon a time, there was like a celestial dragon god, correct? Yes. And the celestial dragon god and this other celestial narwhal god, yeah, got together and wanted to create a new form. Yes. As he described it, the narwhal god or celestial being was like, I'm done with this form. I want a new one, so let's change it, correct? Yes. And so it sort of like evolved into a unicorn. Yes. And he even said that the first one that came from this evolution was like a lot more narwhal looking, which I can only imagine. But, you know, narwhals have very long spears or unicorns. So it's really interesting. And so he described it as like, that's their origin story. And he described them as like cousins to the Pegasus. Yeah. He said some unicorns have wings. Yes. Some unicorns can fly without wings, like him. Lupa said he could fly without wings. And that he did indeed say that rainbows and unicorns are like connected. Yes. Is it safe to say that just unicorn energy is rainbow energy? Yeah, like rainbow star celestial energy. And it was neat because he was saying that like their horns are indeed magic. Their horns were healing. They could heal with their horns. They could, I mean, they sound like earth abundance protectors. That's to me what they sound like. Like if you could put a wizard into an animal combination, you'd get a unicorn. And like back in the good old days, he was describing like unicorns and humans lived coexisted, correct? Yes, in like I would imagine the more rural areas near forests and things. And he said that they would like bless people's crops, and humans used to make like offerings to the forest unicorns for these blessings and healings. But then of course, you know, word got out and then they were hunted for their horns. Mm-hmm. And also hunted to eat. They were eaten by humans as well, which is, now that we're learning what's in the files, no one is really that surprised. Yeah, it's like, well, when someone gets it in their head that something's going to give them unlimited life, who knows what limits people will do, you know? So I think that was interesting. So if unicorns are interesting to you, check out, I'm going to post the replay after this. Are they more horse colored or bright colors like pink? That's a good question. Let's see what Natasha says. Are there other planets that unicorns live on? Yes, they described it as like, so Lupa said that once the unicorns were like, all right, this place is too dangerous for us, we got to go. Some of them ran away into inner earth, correct? Yes. Some of them left energetically and went to different dimensions. Yes. He even described, did some go to off-world to other planets? I'm getting a yes. And I know Lindsay's saying poor mermaids and unicorns. I know. He kind of hinted that there's a possibility that the files may turn up evidence of unicorn and mermaid history or the evidence that they existed. So that would be neat. A sad way for us to find out, but nice that we would finally get some truth. Okay, so where was I going with this? I was just talking about off-world and... Okay, so yeah. Some of them escaped, and he even said that some unicorns partnered up in a way with other mythological beings like dragons, I think, to create specific sanctuary realms. Sounded pretty cool. And so like they're not in any rush to leave and come back to Earth. It was actually really funny because when I asked Lupa like, what do you see? Do you see unicorns coming back? That would be so cool. He was like, it's dirty there. Like he was just like, y'all are ghetto. We'll help energetically, but not physically. Good luck. That's how it was to me. I thought it was very funny. And I'm like, I can't even blame you. It is quite ghetto here. Okay. And so, yeah, he even said that their horns are made of the same materials that stars are made out of. Yes. Which, isn't that the same material we as humans are made of? Yes. So, in a way, do we all carry star, rainbow, unicorn magic in our human bodies? Yes. Look at that. We are the unicorns. Okay. And he also said that their horns are not just like rainbows and healing. It's like they also were powerful weapons as well. Is that true? I get a yes. Pretty neat. Okay. So yeah, they're pretty much like what a wizard and a dragon and a narwhal came together, and unicorns exist. Okay, and they were definitely hunted for their horns because humans believed the horns granted immortality. Yes. Oh, and he even said that there are certain buried ritual sites that may be unearthed in the near future that would connect to the evidence of unicorns on surface. Is that true? I'm getting like slow. Let me see. Is it true that there's a probability that buried ritual sites connected to unicorns will unsurface? I'm getting a yes or maybe. All right. Oh, and another super interesting thing from I don't want to spoil everything, but there's so much cool stuff. This is the last thing I'll spoil. But he said, he revealed that there are several horses here that are actually unicorn star seeds, correct? I get a yes. And that they don't know it. He said that the horses are not aware that that's the case, but that they're anchoring in unicorn rainbow light. Yeah. So it'd be really cool if, I don't know if you're a horse person, but you can ask, like, have I ever met a horse here that is actually a unicorn starseed? Surprising. I haven't met very many horses. So that's interesting. And then he also said that indeed there are, he said only 3 humans alive currently that are technically unicorn souls. I'm getting a yes. So very interesting. You can ask, have I ever met one of those unicorn souls here? I'm getting a no. A pot of gold, the rainbow's a distraction. The veil is thin. So pretty neat. Definitely worthwhile to check out that interview. That unicorn was had a lot to say. Very, very cool. All right, now I wanted to move to, we just covered unicorns. We did all of that. Oh, he even said, my nose. Do unicorns help when people are using Reiki or doing energy or chakra work? Getting a yes. Do you have to call on them for that to happen? I'm getting a no, but like calling them doesn't help. Doesn't hurt, it only helps. Yes. Okay. And they also said like unicorns and humans would definitely want to connect energetically through meditation and build relationships. Yes. So do that if that interests you. That is definitely for your highest and greatest good. And you can ask, is connecting more to unicorn energy for my personal highest and greatest good? And I get a yes. And you can ask, I don't know if we asked about dragons. Ooh, we'll go back, we'll ask about the dragon one. So then you can ask the fun question, do I have a parallel expression as a unicorn? It like moved and then stopped. Okay, let's see. Am I currently experiencing a parallel expression as a unicorn? I'm getting no. Have I had a parallel expression in which I have encountered a unicorn? I get a yes. So pretty neat. Yes. So, and then we can ask for the dragons. Like, am I currently having a parallel expression in which I am a dragon? I'm getting a no. Are you giving me a no? Yes. Okay, so ask again. So you can ask the opposite way. So it's true that I have never had a parallel expression as a dragon? No. See, that's when you're like, wait, then how you're contradicting yourself? Am I asking the question in a weird way? I need to clean it up or something? Yes. Okay. Is there an aspect of my oversoul that is currently expressing itself as a dragon currently in a reality? I'm getting a yes. Okay, so is it safe to say that I have a higher self-expression as a dragon? I'm getting a yes. So yeah, and then you can ask, like, is it in my highest and greatest good to connect with this dragon expression? I'm getting a yes. So many friends to connect with. Mermaids are part of my next section as well. Let's see. Okay, I think we asked enough about unicorns. Mermaids now. Mermaids and aquatic beings. If mermaids are of interest to you, you should check out the Hecate 2.0 interview. She brought in a mermaid, and that was pretty wild. You got to hear it speak through Stephanie. Was that truly a mermaid, Merlin? I'm getting a yes. Is it true that mermaids are actually biological beings here on Earth? Yes. So aquatic humanoids exist on this planet, on the surface as well as inner Earth? I'm getting a yes. That was powerful when the mermaid came through. I was initially a little freaked out. Yes, I was. I was like, wait, I wasn't expecting something that couldn't speak. And it turned out to be very magical. But yes, very serpenty. They're like eels, and kind of like a mix of an eel, a humanoid, and like an anglerfish. Is that like an appropriate way to describe what most mermaid creatures look like? Yes. Like their tail is longer than like our Ariel, idea. Yeah, more serpentine. Mm-hmm. And Hecate said, so is it true that there may be evidence in the Epstein files that might link to mermaids? I'm getting a big yes. Because she basically said mermaids have been victims in this story as well. Yes. Not so much the schmexual abuse, but definitely the eating and the hunting. Yeah. Do mermaids swim, or do they travel in the water in a craft? Interesting. I'm pretty sure they swim, but let's ask. Do mermaids swim in the water on their own? Like without a craft? Do they swim with their fin? Yes. Do they ever use vehicles, underwater vehicles? I'm getting a yes, and that's surprising to me. So mermaids have a capacity and they use underwater vehicles. I'm getting yes. That are considered technology, like built inventions of underwater vehicle travel. I'm getting a yes. Interesting. That's just interesting. So do you do that for like longer traveling periods and more cargo? I'm getting yes. I would never ever have guessed that. For some reason in my mind I assumed they were on the more, I want to say primitive, but not primitive, a more like Avatar level of reality, where they're like just living their life, not inventing things. And so I'm totally wrong with my idea of mermaids. Yes. Do they have like actual huge civilization, like castle civilization? I'm getting a yes. Very interesting. Very cool. All right. What were we gonna ask about mermaids? Because I wanted to ask, do mermaids have the capacity to, I guess, what's the word, like hide themselves, put like an illusion so that we can't cloak, do they have the ability to cloak themselves from humans? I'm getting a yes. Or do all mermaids have the capacity? No. So some mermaids have the capacity to cloak themselves? It feels like a yes. Do some mermaids have the capacity to cloak themselves? Yes. Okay. Very cool. Are mermaids connected to whale consciousness? I'm getting a yes. Are mermaids originally from Earth? I'm getting a yes. Were they creations, hybrid creations? I'm getting a yes. Were they technically created in like a laboratory type of setting? I'm getting like a kind of, but it feels like more than just laboratory science stuff. I don't know. If you can, it's like if you get to the point in science where you can create new beings by mixing other beings together. I guess I get to the point of like, why were mermaids created? I wonder, you know, like what was their original purpose? But I don't know. Would you say their original purpose for creation, did they have like a utilitarian purpose when they were designed? I'm getting yes. Were they meant to assist people in some way? I'm getting a yes. Yeah, I do believe this was considered like Atlantis time during which they were created. I'm getting yes. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, mermaids and the whales. Although today and in the Apollo interview, Apollo was talking about, oh, that's coming up. Never mind, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but he did mention the celestial whales in his first Apollo interview, but he is going to touch on them again on Thursday. But he basically said that there's like a whole planet. Is it more accurate to say it's a planet or a realm? Is it a whale planet or a whale realm? I'm feeling more whale realm. So there's like a celestial whale realm where there are these flying celestial whales that he goes and hangs out with. And would you say those celestial whales are connected to the physical animal whales we have here? Yes. Interesting, right? So it's like, would you say that it's almost accurate that many creatures and animals that exist here descend from like a similar celestial, larger framework? I'm getting a yes. And that in a way, Earth is like an ark, a memory bank. Yeah, something like that. Okay, then I want to talk about phoenixes, griffins, and other hybrid beings. So if you have any questions of any, I mean, we can throw it out there. Any beings that you're like for funsies, and remember it's for funsies because this isn't a perfect science, of like what's real. And so I'm going to ask a few things. So first, are phoenixes a literal species, a bird type of species? I'm getting a yes. Did they literally have the power to resurrect themselves? I'm getting a yes. Thank you, Natasha. Yeah, I didn't even reply. I totally get that, you know, there are a lot of people on here just willy-nilly being like, pay me $30 and I'll ask if your love is going to come into your life. Yeah, but not me. I'm new to using the rods. They started working for me in October, like working for me where I felt like, okay, that's definitely not me moving them. And now I'm challenging myself to do it on live. Although it's really funny because even this morning I tried doing them by myself and it still feels like no connection. And I'm like, but then I'm like, well, I know there's like no doubt that they are going to work when I come into this live situation. And I don't know what that is, but I'm just going with it, and I'm slowly working past my self-doubt along with you guys. Can humans hold phoenix energy? Okay, let's see. Can humans possess or hold phoenix energy? I'm getting like, yeah, in the sense that like the metaphorical death and rebirth energy. Yes. I'm just getting the sense that like, I think every one of us can account that there's been a moment where we've had to reinvent ourselves in our lifetimes, and it was hard at the time, but we came out better and stronger afterwards. It's like we can all remember a moment or a story in which that was true for someone. And so yeah, we all possess phoenix energy. However, is there a connection between phoenixes and dragons? It's funny because they feel like they're moving together, but it's been very slow. Was that a yes, that they are connected? Is there a link between them? I just feel like they operate together at times, is the link? Yes. Okay. Interesting. Would you say they live in the same or exist in the same dimension or realms? Yes. Are there currently phoenixes in Inner Earth? I got a yes. So is there more than one phoenix alive in Inner Earth? I'm getting a yes. Is there an interest in, do the phoenix possess an interest in connecting with humans? I get a yes. And then you can ask for funsies. Have I ever had, or am I currently experiencing a parallel expression in which I have ever encountered a phoenix? Ooh, I get a yes. Very cool. Was I a human in that expression? I'm getting a no. Let's see. Did phoenixes ever walk on the surface with humans? I'm getting a yes. Are there still phoenixes existing on surface alongside us currently? I'm feeling like, do they exist just in hiding from us? Are they like voluntarily in hiding? Yes. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Are they able to cloak themselves from humans? I don't know why I'm getting a no on that. I would have expected yes. So then you can ask the other way. So phoenixes do not possess the ability to cloak themselves? I'm getting a no. They hide using other methods? Interesting. I don't know. I do not know. Are they able, is it more accurate to say that instead of cloaking, oh, this should be the same thing. Is it the same to say that they cloak themselves versus manipulate our minds? So it is the same. So you're saying those are the same thing. That would be considered cloaking. Yes. And so phoenixes do not cloak themselves. Correct. But there are some that exist here on surface Earth currently. Interesting. I'm getting a yes. Okay. Can they shapeshift? Ooh, I'm getting a yes to that. So phoenixes have the ability to shapeshift. Slow, yes. Okay. So phoenixes shapeshift. Yes. Into any form? I'm getting a no. Can they shift into another bird form? I don't know. This is another weird avenue, because if they can't, what are they shape-shifting into? Do they shape-shift into just invisible? Can they turn themselves invisible? I just get a yes. And that is considered different than cloaking? Yes. I don't see how, but okay. This is why some of these things, like, can they shift to, yeah, maybe into other creatures? Yeah. So you're saying that it is not true, then. It is inaccurate to say that phoenixes cloak themselves. Correct. They can shapeshift. Can they shapeshift into other animals? I'm getting a no. Can they shapeshift into stationary objects? I don't know. I have no idea what to ask. But interesting that they exist here. Let's see. Now I want to move on to misunderstood creatures. Like, I remember one time we asked briefly, are werewolves real? And we got a yes the first time too. So I'm interested to see what you guys get. So, are werewolves actual shapeshifters? Yes. Is the werewolf situation passed on via biting? I get a yes. Is there truth in that werewolves must turn into the wolf during the full moon? Interesting, I get a no. So is it true that once bitten, you become someone who can shift forms between human and wolf? I get a yes. Interesting. Are there currently werewolves that exist now on Earth? I get a yes. Do they live among populated areas? Do some of them live among other populated areas? I'm getting a yes. Would you say there's more than 5 werewolves that exist currently? I'm getting a yes. Interesting. Were werewolves created before Atlantean times? I'm getting a yes. Interesting. Did the, I don't want to call it the situation, but what would you call it? Lycanthropy? Did those, would you say that those who are werewolves are happy to be a werewolf? I'm getting a yes. Interesting. Okay. Are werewolves considered aggressive towards humans? I'm getting a no. I was expecting a slow yes. Let's go Team Jacob. Yes. Ooh, that's interesting. Was there truth to the Twilight series in that, are there certain werewolf family lines that have been kept throughout time, like werewolf dynasties in some ways? I'm getting a yes. Are some of those dynasties linked to indigenous populations? I'm getting a yes. Very cool. Is there a connection that werewolves have to druids? I'm getting a yes. Interesting. So did the process of becoming a werewolf start intentionally because someone wanted to become part werewolf, part wolf? I'm getting a yes. Interesting. Okay. Now we can move on to vampires. Are blood-sucking human vampires a real species that exists here on Earth? Has it ever existed here on Earth? I was expecting to get a yes. Did anyone get a yes on that one? So then you ask the other way. So you're saying that actual literal beings that suck blood from humans that call themselves vampires are not real? Well, now I'm getting a no on that too, so that can't be right. That's two negatives. So are there actual beings that would call themselves vampires that exist by sucking and drinking blood? I'm getting a yes. Okay. Are there vampires currently walking the earth now among us humans? Interesting. I gotta know. So you're saying they do not currently walk the earth with humans, correct? No, that's not right then. So they do walk the earth with humans. Yes. Okay. That's why it's important to like ask. Sometimes if it doesn't feel right, ask the question in the opposite way so that you can get a different way to get an answer. So yes, I got a yes. Ultimately, they do exist and walk the earth now. But I'm also getting that, like, is it true that maybe the myths about vampires are sort of blended together with the idea of energy vampirism as well? Yes. Which, by the way, if you've ever seen that show, What We Do in the Shadows, it's so funny. My favorite character is the energy vampire. And so I always ask, like, does that show portray any sort of reality to what vampires exist like now? I'm getting a kind of, like, does it at least portray accurately that vampires still exist and that they live together commonly? I'm getting a yes. Colin is the best. Okay, Colin portrays an energy vampire. Do energy vampires walk among us as well? I'm getting a yes, but it's just everyday people. Everyone has the capacity to be an energy vampire. Yes. That is for sure. That is for sure. And, yeah, just very interesting. Are vampires truly, do they actually not like garlic? Is that true? I'm getting a yes. It feels like a yes. Excuse me. I don't know what else to ask about vampires. You can ask, am I currently having a parallel expression in which I have been a vampire? I feel like they're moving, but they're staying still, so I'm going to ask again because that was too slow for my liking. Am I experiencing a parallel expression in which I am experiencing life as a vampire? I get a yes. Weird. As that vampire, am I actually eating human blood? I'm getting a yes. That's so funny. And then, just for funsies, I'm curious, is it in my highest and greatest good to attempt to connect to that vampire parallel expression? No. That would be interesting. Let's see. Has that been a vampire experience here on Earth? Yes. So then, Is that vampire expression then technically still alive now while I'm alive? I'm getting a yes, and that is time brain melty. I'm sure I asked that in a weird way too. Like, hypothetically, could I arrange to physically meet this vampire expression of myself? That is wild. Does this vampire expression know about me? Yes. Creepy. Creepy and interesting. Okay. Let's see. Now I want to go to, just some fun questions. So anything out there looking for water? Are you talking about the rods? Yeah, they are also used for that. That is true. But today we're just doing a practice with them, getting us used to doing it in groups and troubleshooting the rods together. So if you're ever interested in pursuing divination, come find me. So I just wanted to ask these fun questions. Like, do I personally have a parallel mythic incarnation as a unicorn? What about as a dragon? I'm getting a yes. What about as fae? I'm getting a yes. Interesting thing about fae. I've read that some fae are actually larger than humans, correct? Yes. Even the ones that have wings and can fly. Yes. Wild to think about. They could like carry us like a baby. Yeah. Am I currently experiencing a mythic incarnation as a mermaid or aquatic creature? Hybrid? You can clean that up and just say mermaid. As a mermaid? I'm getting a yes. This is something I've actually had a parallel past life session done in which I found out that I was experiencing life as a minotaur. Is that true? It's like wanting to say yes, but it feels like it gets stuck. What about gnomes and can I take care of my garden? Yes. So am I experiencing a parallel expression as a minotaur? Getting a slow yes. And then we're going to ask about gnomes and gardens. Okay. Are gnomes a real species of being that exist here on Earth? I'm getting a yes. Do they actually dress like the garden gnomes we see in our folk tales? I'm getting a yes. Complete with the long hats and bright colors? I'm getting a yes. Is it possible to currently call in gnomes for garden assistance? I'm getting a yes. Does it require just asking them for their assistance? I'm getting a yes. Yeah, it's pretty neat what exists whether it's within a different dimension or underneath our feet in inner earth. There's a lot of secrets coming up soon. Yes, I'm very excited for where the world is going because I never would have thought I would be on here talking out loud and in public about all this kind of stuff. And yet here we are bringing magic back one day at a time. So very interesting. You can ask all kinds of questions. We asked a bunch of these. So you can even ask, have I ever had a parallel expression in which I was hunting a unicorn? Ooh, I get a yes. Isn't that interesting? So it's true. I am currently experiencing a parallel expression in which I am a unicorn hunter. Yes. Isn't that wild? Life will have you experiencing all kinds of polarity. Wild. We asked about the dragon riders before, and Is it true that dragons were also hunted at some point? Yes. Was I ever a dragon hunter? I get a yes to that too, which is wild. So I've had both a lifetime connected to dragons and hunting them. Yes. Really wild. All right, everyone. And then, you know, when you get these answers of like, yes, there's a dragon expression or a unicorn expression, I think it can be easy to sort of lose sight of the most important lifetime we're currently having, which is this one. And it's like, yes, but it's answering so slow today. Yes. Okay. And then meditate and connect to them. Meditate and connect to tell them to stop or else. I guess internet crosses dimensions. Yes. Any new Earth updates or motherships? All we keep hearing is that, is it true that we are technically in New Earth now? Yes. Is it currently our highest priority as humans to hold the frequencies of authenticity and joy to stabilize this frequency? Yes. And then for motherships, are we still on the timeline in which motherships and alien disclosure is on the horizon? I'm getting a yes. Yep. It's like we need to be patient and trust it is all going according to plan, better than anticipated in past timelines. It's like it's happening now. It's just not as wham bam as the news is trying to be about how terrible things seem. They want it to seem bad. Yeah. But just to throw out there, you know, with the news currently circulating again, because this is their go-to, when they're a fox in a corner, they're going to throw out their oldest card in the book, which is the threat of nuclear war, correct? They're throwing that out there as a fear. Yes. And something I've been told consistently through many different channelers that I've working with multiple different alien beings, is like something they consistently tell me is like, is it true that there are certain non-interference rules that aliens must follow when interacting with Earth? Yes. Are there loopholes to those non-interference laws when it comes to preventing nuclear war? Yes. It's even true that nuclear silos where they store the missiles are the most high traffic areas when it comes to UFOs, orbs, alien activity. Yes. And it's like they've consistently told me there is not a chance that they will allow a single nuclear bomb to go off. Correct. They're just, the news and the governments are going to use that to scare us into the possibility. Yes. And, you know, they're triggering, something I was also told is that, you know, if you get into weird, the time melty timeline stuff, you learn that there are timelines, you know, down World War II times in which we did nuclear bomb everyone and everything. Yes. And they had to break the non-interference laws and adjust the timelines, correct? Yes. And that is would you say that that is pretty much the reason in which Earth has had so much focus from other areas of the galaxy at this time? Yes. It's because when that happened in that original timeline, it affected everyone. Not just Earth. Yes. It's the way I see it in my head, it was kind of like, who's watching Earth? Like, who's been watching Earth? And I guess they had us on some sort of like their version of AI, like autopilot kind of a situation, auto governance of this world. Because like they're waiting for humans to get to a certain development point to start paying attention. Yeah. And things happen where it's like things got under the radar. Yeah. And so now all attention is on Earth. Yes. And that is not allowed to happen again. Correct. So yeah, Thank you so much for being here today, guys. I enjoyed this practice. To close our practice, for those who just joined in at the end, we do allow asking of questions off if they're on topic. Thank you, Natasha. And I do this 3 days a week. You can check my link in my bio for the schedule. I'm doing another one again tomorrow, 1 p.m., in which we all bring our own tools to practice connecting together. Because I'm new at this. They didn't always work for me. They still don't always work for me. And so this is why I do this, to push myself out of my bubble. And I find that they always work. And I really enjoy watching these back because I can be like, whoa, I can like see the rods cross. And I am doing my absolute best to literally not move at all, so that you all can see that like this is something happening, not something I'm doing. Yes. Thank you for following. So, and we also share channeled interviews. We just had one this morning that I'm going to post in a minute, where we channeled, Stephanie, my partner, channeled a unicorn, an actual unicorn from Inner Earth. And so I'm excited. I think I can even pull up the picture I sent to Stephanie. I was like, this is what the AI took from the transcript and created about Lupa. So muscular. And he even said like his eyes were like galaxies. And yeah, he was very much like the Fabio of Unicorns of Inner Earth. So I'm going to post the interview in just a minute. He's very buff, and yes. He's very buff stallion of a unicorn. And I love that they chose a masculine, because, you know, we always think of unicorns as like pink flowers, like only girls are allowed to be into them and wear them on their backpacks and shirts. But like, I raised 2 boys, and I'm consistently like, no one is going to tell you that butterflies and unicorns and flowers are not for boys. Like, they have boy flowers and unicorns and butterflies too, and they look exactly the same. So anyways, thank you for being here with me. We're going to do this again. I made it with AI. So I inputted the transcript from our interview this morning with the unicorn, and I was like, based on this transcript of how he described himself and what his world looks like, make it. And it had everything, including the way it described his skin as like sort of opalescent and shimmery, and the horn too, having like, he said it was spiralized, not smooth. So it was really cool. But yeah, so yes, check out my older interviews where we've interviewed Luca. So there's Luca, the why did I say barefoot? Bigfoot, and then Lupa, the unicorn. And I was saying earlier that someone needs to come up with a children's story of Luca and Lupa of Inner Earth. It needs to be made. I did use ChatGPT for that, yeah. I pay for the membership since I make so many generated images for these videos. And so, yeah. Isn't that cool? He described all these waterfalls and lagoons. The only thing I can't get AI to do right is it is incorrect when it pictures Inner Earth. It wants to do that cave on the top where it looks like it's under us, but they're more accurately upside down. Like, because gravity is tied to the crust, and so we walk on the surface, they walk underneath us. And so their oceans connect to our oceans. You know what I mean? Like mirror, like the upside down. So anyways, thank you for being here with me. To close our practice, we ring the bell one more time, the 440 hertz. We thank Merlin. Thank you so much, Merlin, for being with us today and all your insight and wisdom. We appreciate it. And I always like to ask, actually, Merlin, do you enjoy connecting with us like this? I get a yes. And it's like, yeah, it's fun. Would you like others out there to start connecting with you and learning as well? I'm getting a yes. And so, yeah, the Merlin. And the interesting thing about Merlin that I throw out every time, because it was news to me, is that Merlin is equally, is it true that you're equally angelic and dragon energy? I get a yes. And so, yes. And always before connecting with a new being, you can ask, is it for my highest and greatest good to connect with Merlin? And you get a yes. or a no. All right, so thank you, Merlin. Now we release, we close the connection. We hit it and we say, I demand release from all control and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. Then you blow out your candle and you go on your day. And yeah, you can do the white light pyramid as often as you like. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the rods practice. And I feel like I'm forgetting something that's tomorrow, but I think that's it. And then again, I'll see you Thursday evening for Apollo 2.0 interview. That should be super fun. All right, bye guys. I love you. I love me. Let's make this world what we want it to be.